Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We have discussed article writing earlier as well, where we have considered what should be the various parts and how those should be written by the writers. And we have also discussed that basically columns are meant for all kinds of readers varying in ages, varying in interests, and obviously who will like to know the personal experiences of the writers. There are 7 broad types which are considered by the editors, the types of articles. And when we consider these types of articles, these can be written on varied subjects like political to social, economics, personal, travelogues. These are also part of the types which we consider that present-day journalism is utilizing all these types one way or the other. Now, considering the present circumstances and the influence of various objects or various elements on journalism, we see that, and some people also consider it, that probably article is losing its value. But it is not so. There are modifications, no doubt about it. But those modifications are for the better. We see that even writers of yesteryears, they were observing those rules. However, change or fluctuation in the subject, in the type, is not as such objectionable. Journalism is surviving today because it is changing according to the times. And when it is changing according to the times, it is absorbing influences. Those influences can be of the electronic media, those influences can be of the web or the internet, those influences could be of the globalization. When we say globalization, it means that our journalism is not detached from the happenings around the world, from the influences which actually filter into the boundaries of our country. Rather, what we see is that article is representing and portraying those changes through the acceptance of those influences. Today, we see an article more stronger in its expression, that is political or social or economic, and it has come to be an instrument which is fastly tracking down features and columns. Today, we see that the article writers are aware of their responsibility. They believe that if they have to entertain or to inform or to instruct, they must follow these principles which are the essence of writers. हमारे यहाँ जर्नलिज्म ऐसा नहीं रह गया कि आप किसी कोने में बैठ जाएं और वहाँ से अखबार पैदा करते रहें. अब आप एक ग्लोबल प्रोसेस का हिस्सा हैं और आपका अखबार न सिर्फ हार्ड कॉपी के ज़रिए पढ़ा जाता है, बल्कि सारे के सारे ऑलमोस्ट अखबारात जो हैं वो वेब पे अपलोड भी होते हैं. So through this, even somebody is sitting in the backyard of America, or somebody is sitting anywhere in the West, like Europe, he can do what? He can access your newspaper. Many a time, it might have happened to you as well. You have not got up early in the morning, whereas you receive a call from somebody in England or in Spain asking you what is happening in your country. So, when we see that this is happening in the country, and when we see that it is happening across the board, we see what? We see that the writers have kept themselves abreast to the changes. They are interested in knowing more. They are interested in telling more. That's what is happening today. So through these various types, which are being practiced by the writers almost in totality, we find that these people who are part of the society not only try to discuss issues, try to resolve problems of the people, not only try to talk about the distortions in the society or in the family system, they also take up personal issues as well and sharing those confidentially with the readers. Besides this, political or the social factors influence them, but they remain loyal to their job. When we are discussing the subjects of articles, it is not difficult to say, and there is no doubt about it, that today's article is discussing everything, discussing all people, all the influences, and taking consideration of the factors which are influencing them. They are not diverting or digressing in any way. Today, our journalism is ranging from personal to the highest level of religion or the political. Our journalism is no more a detached entity, as I have said. So are the articles. We have what? We have certain elements which are being considered today, and we also see that our article writers are not into any bias or prejudice. If they do entertain certain ideas, they keep those, in most of the cases, to themselves. Their approach towards writing is an objective one. No doubt, subjectivity is part of journalism, and you cannot, I repeat, you cannot disconnect subjectivity from journalism despite all efforts. Despite we teach all junior journalists and students to stay away from subjectivity, but what we find is that even in certain cases, subjectivity or liking or disliking of certain editors or certain newspapers has become an editorial policy. However, the freelancers and the article writers seem to be detached from these biases. And today, we see that the article writers are actually becoming more responsible. Thinking about the wide-ranging subjects, obviously a person who cannot write on one subject, he can go to the other. Specialization is less in article writing, whereas it could be considered that people try to become specialist one way or the other. It's an age of specializations, so the article writers are trying to do that as well. Let's come to the 7 broad types of articles. The first one is interview articles. Interview articles are basically based on the experiences of some person. आप खुद नहीं लिख सकते वो बात, या खुद वो नहीं कह सकते, लेकिन आप उनसे इंटरव्यू के थ्रू वो बात कर सकते हैं. Through their personal expressions, through their own experiences, obviously narrated to the journalist, to the writer. Besides this, ordinary लोगों को इतना सब्जेक्ट नहीं बनाया जाता आर्टिकल्स में. वेल नोन को ज़्यादा कंसिडर किया जाता है. जिस तरह कि आपसे मैंने फीचर के बारे में बात की थी कि फीचर में मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम हम लोग क्या कंसिडर करते हैं कि इवन ऑर्डिनरी आदमी भी जो है वो भी अगर कोई एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी अचीव करता है या वो किसी एक्सपीरियंस के थ्रू जाता है या आप उसका इंटरव्यू छाप लेते हैं, मे बी इन बॉक्सेस, जिस तरह आपसे पहले भी मैं बात कर चुका हूँ. आर्टिकल्स और इंटरव्यू आर्टिकल्स में ये चीज़ हमें कम नज़र आती है. मोस्टली इंटरव्यू आर्टिकल्स में जो वेल नोन पर्सनालिटीज़ हैं